Mario's 35th birthday has been a somewhat tumultuous event, at least in my eyes. Super Mario 3D All-Stars didn't live up to my expectations, and from what I saw, most people felt the same way. Super Mario Bros. 35, as cool of an idea as it was, quickly proved to be pointless to play given how it'll be shut down by the end of March. And so, I struggled to see what really was the point in celebrating the plumber's birthday at the awkward number of 35. Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury is more or less the last attempt to make this birthday a bash instead of a bust. Was this Wii U game worth bringing back? Does Bowser's Fury do enough to justify the $60 price tag? Or is this yet another arbitrary Wii U port? Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the internet. My name is Ty with Mojo Plays, and this is my review of Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury for the Nintendo Switch. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos. And if you're curious about what else I'm playing, or want to hear how this PlayStation fanboy is enjoying his Xbox Series S, follow me on Twitter at GhostWriterTyler. Prior to Nintendo giving us a code for the game, I had never really played Super Mario 3D World when it had launched in 2013. Then again, how many of us actually owned a Wii U? I certainly didn't. I had played a couple of levels with friends in college, but we switched over to Smash Bros. After about 5 minutes of playing. So really, I haven't had much reason to try and experience this. And finally, the day has come, where I can now sit down and experience what many call one of the best Mario games in the last 10 years. Now is my chance to rescue all the Sprixies captured by Bowser and experience the fun I had been missing out on. And I got to do so with the option of playing as Mario, Luigi, Peach, or Toad. The way I could describe Mario 3D World's gameplay is that it's similar to Super Mario Bros. 2. With the selection of playable characters, your experience and difficulty is all going to depend on who you choose to play as. Mario is the most balanced, Luigi has the highest jump with a bit of slip in his step, Peach can float, and Toad is the fastest character between the four. Some levels will require you to play as a specific character, but that's only if you're trying to find all the stamps and green stars. We'll get to that in a little bit though. One comment I would often stumble upon is that Super Mario 3D World boasts some of the best level design in the franchise's history, and I can certainly see why one would think that. Each level features its own unique setting, theme, and mechanics. One level may focus on scaling a big mountain, while another lets you play around on an open beach. Adding to the challenge are green stars and stamps hidden throughout each level. The difficulty of grabbing these can range from painfully obvious to tricky and clever, from simply defeating a specific enemy to pulling off crazy jumps to reach high places. As much as I enjoyed the levels and finding collectibles, I grew frustrated by how scatterbrained the game ended up feeling. What others may deem as refreshing, I often called chaotically forsaken. Sure, 3D World incorporates some creative levels, but they are few and far in between. A lot of the stuff you'll see here you've most likely already experienced in previous Mario games. Rolling hills? Yeah, saw that in New Super Mario Bros. Wii and even New Super Mario Bros. DS. Platforms that change when you jump? That's Super Mario 3D Land for ya. Beeping blocks that change on specific beats? Those were also in Super Mario 3D Land. I'll admit, these kinds of levels were still fun to play, but it just didn't make sense why we were revisiting these same concepts, especially given how quickly the game abandons the many ideas it presents. Remember when I said earlier that you'll have to play as specific characters to get certain green stars and stamps? Well, that's because some of these may be locked behind character switches. The thing is, though, I rarely had to deal with these things, so why introduce these when you're not going to use them enough? Past Mario games at least explore and toy with its concepts for a few levels before moving on. In the end, 3D World becomes a jack of all trades and a master of none, and it doesn't help that boss battles are a complete joke. There is one change that Nintendo has implemented to give veteran players a new experience. Mario and the gang now move faster. A little too fast, if you ask me. Even when I wasn't playing as Toad, there were times where my character was moving a little too fast and I would end up bouncing off the walls and eventually to my death. So don't be surprised if you need some time to grasp the controls. And yes, for some unknown reason, motion controls are still required to progress in some of the missions, making platforming way more annoying than it needs to be. Of course, if you're looking to buy this game, you're probably not as curious about 3D World as you are about the heavily advertised Bowser's Fury portion of the game. It's all anyone could talk about in the month leading up to release, and understandably so. I mean, Mario turns into a Super Saiyan cat. How could you not freak out over it? Bowser's Fury sees Mario falling into a mysterious and kind of small world where Bowser has transformed into a Godzilla version of himself. Worried about his pops, Bowser Jr. regrettably asks Mario for help, thus sending the two on a quest to save the world by beating Bowser senseless and occasionally blinding him with lighthouses. 'Cause yes, violence solves everything. Part of what makes Bowser's Fury so appealing is how it plays like a Super Mario Odyssey 0.5. You know, a miniature version of a bigger game. We've seen this sort of thing before with the infamous games. As you visit each gimmicky island, you'll solve puzzles and fight enemies to collect cat shines. And once you've accrued enough, the Giga Bell will awaken the next time Bowser throws a tantrum. Speaking of which, Bowser only rages at fixed intervals, and it gets more frequent as you progress through the game. You can actually use this as a means to progress at your own pace. Sure, you can collect the Giga Bell as soon as you've got the power to do so, but if you want to spend more time collecting cat shines, you can either wait for the tantrum to end, or collect a cat shine to immediately end it and inflict a little bit of damage on Bowser. It's kind of cool how you can kill two birds with one stone. Making things more convenient for the player is Plessy, the goofy, adorable dinosaur from Super Mario 3D World. Whereas most open-world games require you to manually call your horse or vehicle, or whatever method of transportation you're using, Bowser's Fury will always spawn Plessy close to your location. No buttons required. You'll often find him by a dock or just a few feet away if you're swimming in water. Needless to say, getting around is far from a hassle, and it made the whole experience far more enjoyable. There are tons of other things Bowser's Fury does really well, too. Mario handles about as well as he does in Super Mario Odyssey, and you can adjust Bowser's AI to either help you a lot, seldom, or never. It does so many things right that it's upsetting how short the entire experience is. Bowser's Fury is short. Like, really short. So short that when I looked at the time, I struggled thinking about what else to do with my day. I had a good chunk of my day blocked out specifically for Bowser's Fury, and by the time I finished, I had already nabbed most of the cat shines. It was only noon. Was this the reason why a decade-old game cost $60? It wasn't bad for a 2-hour game, but something tells me this would have succeeded as a standalone title. If this 2-game pack was $40, I'd be just fine with the length of Bowser's Fury, but 60? Are we just tacking that on now because all the other big companies are doing it? I just don't understand it. Honestly, it's really hard for me to decide if this game is worth $60. On one hand, you have two good games that do things somewhat well. On the other hand, one game lasts a couple of hours, while the other is from 2013 with not a lot of new elements. If you're someone looking for a new game to play with friends, 3D World will definitely suffice, and given the state of the world, the inclusion of online play was a smart move. Bowser's Fury is just as enjoyable solo as it can be with a friend. I suppose it all boils down to what kind of a Mario fan are you? Are you like me, someone who expects more consistency in level design, challenging gameplay, and the free roam nature of 3D Mario games? Or are you the classic platformer fanatic, who likes the thrill of the speedrun, the chaotic multiplayer, and enjoys the simple nature of 2D Mario games? Those that fall into the latter will definitely want to grab this. As for me, I'll be moving on to other things. Sorry, Mario.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, there's more where that came from.